Okay, so logistics, guys. Quiz is going to cover 11.1 to 11.5. Okay, it is 10 questions. They are all multiple choice. The first and only one with the graphing calculator will be on paper, and it will be the area under the curve. So you will start with that on paper while I get you logged into the rest of the questions that are on lockdown. The rest of the questions you can have a for function, or I will assign you one on lockdown if you want to use it. Really, you shouldn't need the for function except for it helps you with the summation ones. Nico. Area under the curve. Okay, so we start with your limits from graphs. Okay, remember that the limit is obviously the y value where that x occurs, and there are 3 times in which a limit does not exist. Give me them.
The vertical asymptote.
Vertical asymptote. So the explanation would be that the values are unbounded, right? Unbounded or increasing or decreasing without bound. That causes a DNE. What else? Oscillating, which we really haven't seen much of, but it does exist. Like your graph does like this, and then it goes up and down really fast in a tight little spot. I'm spelling it wrong, right? Oscillates. There's 2 S's there. I don't care. You know what it means. All right, what's the third one? Like a piecewise where it approaches 2 different y values. 2 different y values. Even if they are 1 solid, 1 open, or 2 open. Can't be both solid because that wouldn't be a function. But if those happen, then then the limit does not exist. All right, then you get to this little limit notation where we could add, subtract, multiply, divide, like all that stuff. These are easy ones, right? We just plug in the place of every f of x, we would plug in 2. In the place of every g of x, we would plug in 5. Then we got to ones that are direct substitution, where we can simply plug that value in to the variable and figure out what the y would be. And then we got to ones that if we try direct substitution, they don't work because it would give you something that's undefined, right? Like I cannot plug -2 in a 23, it would give me 0 on the bottom. And so for the first 3 there, those types of questions, we would factor, simplify, get rid of that hole, right? And then plug in the x coordinate after it's simplified. For something like 31, I have to get rid of the square root, so I would multiply both the top and the bottom by the opposite of the square root expression. So it would be +2, top and bottom.
I have a question for Squishwell. So for this one, would the limit possibly does not exist or no?
No, it's 2.
It's just 2?
A whole is a limit.
And then what about this one?
That does not exist. Correct. All right, then we got to, this is just more of this one. This is kind of just more of the factoring. So we factor, and then I cross out all the stuff. Like, obviously, we're not going to have the graphic calculator for that one, so you're not going to use a graph. You're not going to use a table feature. This would just be simplifying. You're also going to have, on the same paper, just to save paper, is the slope at a given point. So that's the one where you have to do your f of x plus h minus your f of x all over h. So those 2 questions are printed on a piece of paper, one for you to show me the work, the other so that you have access to your calculator. And then you're going to put the calculator on the floor and you'll continue with the Canvas portion of it, which is the remaining 8 questions. On that portion, you can use a for function calculator, okay? Or I will give you the one on lockdown, which is like your basic calculator. Like if you hold your phone vertically, that little one, which is basically for function, is what you will have access to. On the second page, now we got into 11.3. Now this is the question that you have on paper, not your, just kidding.
Yeah.
This is also the question that you have on paper. I was saying it was just your area under the curve, but it's 2 of them. This is the other one that I'm giving you the paper, not because you need to use the graphing utility, but because I want to see the work. This is the f of x. So this is the limit process for finding the y value or the limit at that x, right? So you are going to do the f of x plus h. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. That's step 1. Then you make h 0 because we want to find the limit of the graph, or I want to find the limit at 0. And then I plug in the x value.
Will you get singular number?
Yeah, you'll get just one y number at the end. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Limit process just means
Not the shortcut. Limit process is that whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can use the shortcut on these, like the derivatives, we can use the shortcuts on. This, totally fine to use your shortcut. But the one that's the limit process, this I'm giving you literally on paper, you've got to show me all those steps.
Okay.
All right, then evaluating it at infinity. So this is following the rules of our horizontal asymptotes. If it has n in the top and m in the bottom is the highest exponent. If n is less than m, then the limit is at 0. If n is equal to m, then the limit is at the leading coefficient of the numerator over the leading coefficient of the denominator. And if n is greater than m, then the limit does not exist. This says use a graphing utility to verify. You wouldn't have a graphing utility there. Still good on that one?
That one's just a number, right? It's not
Yeah, it's just a value unless it's any. So it'll be 0. I mean, it could be a fraction or a whole number, but it will just be the value. Okay, then 11.5, you also, or sorry, still in 11.4, was finding the limit using the sequence. It's not going to ask you to find the first 5 terms and then find it. It's literally just going to ask you to use the sequence to find it. So same rules as the previous. Look at your n and your m, and they follow the same rules. N is less than m, 0, equal to m, leading coefficient, greater than m, then limit does not exist. Then we did area under the curve. So there's 2 practice for area under the curve. This is the one I will let you use the graphing utility on. Yeah.
For number 9.
Wait, let me go back. Let me finish this one and then I'll go back, okay? And then the last ones are your summation, okay? On your answer sheets, you are going to get given the summation rules. So you have them there to use. Questions on like logistics of it, yeah.
Are we gonna need are there gonna be slant asymptotes in the test? Like, do we have to know who?
No.
Okay.
Like how to find them?
But no, it's just like this one has.
No, but you just need the limit. So it doesn't exist.
Oh, I mean, if it's a slant, it just does not exist.
Correct.
And what if it's a horizontal? It also does not exist.
No, if it's horizontal, then the horizontal asymptote is
Oh.
yeah. Any other questions? Yep.
So when you say only, like you can only use the graphing calculator on the left question.
Yeah, but it will actually be the first. No, not those. The area under the curve.
Yeah, those.
Yeah. It will actually be the first question.
That's the only time we use the calculator.
That's the only time you use the calculator. Yep.
You said we can get the 4-function calculator for the summation.
So you can either bring a 4-function calculator and use it the whole time, or on the Canvas portion of it, I can give you the basic, which is like a 4-function.
Do you have enough for all of them?
Between those 2, yeah. Like if Canvas doesn't work, then I have a physical one.
Oh.
But if not, it's literally on lockdown. Like you just open up a new tab and you have the basic calculator. Yeah. All right, this one, I had a factor at the bottom. The x plus 1's cancel, and then plug the -1 in, and you get -1/5. Number 2. This time it's to infinity, so we look at the exponents. The exponent in the top is bigger than the one in the bottom. The limit does not exist because there's no horizontal asymptote. This one we plug in. Be careful, don't fall for the trap that your brain typically goes left to right. G of x came first, so -4 went first. And then f of x is 5. You should have gotten 17. 4, you're looking at the exponents again. They're the same, so this is your leading coefficient, which is a half. 5. I use the power rule. 3 gets bumped forward to become 6x. Subtract the 1, and it's squared. And then you have to bring the x to the top in order to use the power rule. So it becomes -2, bumps to the front, subtract the 1, and I get 10 over x to the third. 6, this is your summation. So you're splitting it at the plus and the minus. The n squared, well, the 3 gets bumped to the front of the n. Plug it all in, 467,940. And then the area under the curve. So the area under the curve in the last one that we are doing are the first ones really. Okay, this time your corner hits at 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 rectangles from 1 to 5, so the width is 1. So I plugged in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and got 4.167. I would have multiplied by 1, so it would have stayed the same. And you can't plug 0 directly in, so we multiplied by the opposite of the radical expression. Simplified, and it got rid of the x, and then I was able to plug in the 0, and you get 1/2. So this is the long one. So on paper is 2 questions. I had said one before, but it's 2 questions. It's the area under the curve, and it's this guy, okay? Then you're getting logged into the other 8 questions. So this is finding the slope at the given point, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is the f of x plus h part. So I'm going to take the x plus h, I'm going to plug it in. 2 times x plus h squared minus x plus h plus 3. And I'm going to memorize x plus h squared because it just makes it easier. It's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Distribute the minus here. Negative x, negative h, plus 3. Then distribute the 2. So 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus x minus h plus 3. That's the f of x plus h part. Then I subtract my original function. So I just change the signs of the terms that are going to cancel and put them under the ones that are going to cancel because I know they should cancel. So from here, I get 4xh plus 2h squared minus h. And then I put it all over h. And 1 h from each term should cancel out. This would be a 1. Now I make h 0 because it's the limit as h goes to 0. So this becomes 4x plus 2 times 0 minus 1, or 4x minus 1. Now, if this is me and I'm taking this quiz, I'm going to come back up and I'm going to check that I would get the same answer from using the shortcut on the derivative rule from the initial. So I'm going to come back up and I say 2 times 2 would have been 4. Subtract the 1, x to the first. This is 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. This subtract the 1, that x goes away, and the constant goes away. This and this should be the same thing. You have to have the work. That's why I'm making you do it on paper. You have to have the work to get the credit for this question, but you could check it with the other method. Then I'm going to take and plug in the x value on my coordinate point. So 4 times negative 1 minus 1 is negative 4 minus 1. Negative 5 is the slope of this function at that point.